Um, Good evening, folks. Out there in social media, anybody listening, on any platform that you may find this. Um, I just happen to be going through the news cycle, and I come across a story that's just developing, through major and local news organizations in New York City and abroad. That I guess you could say a black male who I guess appeared to be or alleged was from Baltimore came to New York, Baltimore, Maryland, and he actually shot, killed, assassinated, however you want to say it, two New York City police officers. Now, I'll say this. There may be some people that say, you know what, now the NYPD is getting a taste of what, other folks were getting. I say this. Two wrongs don't make a right. Regardless of what happened with the Mike Brown situation, with the Eric Garner, with the Trayvon Martin, anybody else of color that was killed, it still doesn't excuse a man blatantly coming and, murdering, executing, or, shooting two cops who just happen to be on duty. And I see this as a concerned citizen. What type of society do we live in where it's okay to travel to another state and kill, two police officers who basically had nothing to do with what was going on, regardless of whatever incidents was happening, race based on religion, race, or whatever drama is going on nowadays. It's never okay. As a society, we all lose. We nobody wins, when two police officers are killed, on patrol. It's senseless, because when Eric Garner was killed, or Mike Brown was killed, they were rioting and all this other kind of stuff in the streets, and all these politicians out there making these statements and doing all these type of things, and people saying all kind of racially insensitive stuff. Now two police officers are killed, and you have the mayor and the New York City Police Commissioner left to deal with the families and make statements and give press conferences. And maybe a couple of people are speaking up here and there, but, no politicians or, civil rights leaders are rushing to condemn the act. And they may be against it, but, if you're going to be one way for one side, be another way for another side, because, violence is not the answer. Because regardless of what happens on both sides, the police and on the side of, the people that were killed in the Mike Brown case, the Eric Garner, the Trayvon Martin, is that there's all a loss of lives. Both sides have lost life. We all need to come to some understanding as people. We all need to, try to understand each other, communicate with each other, regardless of our race, our religion, our creed. And it can't just be talk, It can't just be something where you have a conference or do something for political points. It has to be real substantive change. Laws have to be changed. Sensitivity courses have to be given. Real working with the police force and, local community leaders and, folks that can really change and do things in this world. We're not perfect, and things will never be perfect in this planet, with the way things are. We'll always have disagreements. We'll always have times where we could do things a little bit better. But does it matter, that, a person, commits a senseless act of violence, and feels that it's okay to do so? Does it register in the mind of society that it's okay for somebody to come from another state and kill two people, regardless if they're cops or not, just senselessly? Because the difference between the Mike Brown situation and the, Eric Garner situation and the Trayvon Martin is that, these guys or these cops or whoever was involved didn't come to the state with this purpose, or at least it wasn't reported that way. So now you have a situation where, you're scratching your head like, is this a society that we live in? Is this okay? I say it's not, and I'm just speaking out saying this because, just because we have these race issues and folks are killed and this, that, and the third, I want peace for everybody, and it may not come, but it doesn't mean we can't work towards it. Some type of understanding, because, killing 2 police officers because, in response to events that happen all around the country only, heightens tensions now between the police force and, local citizens, of the state. There was something in Ferguson where they talked about the militarization of police and was it necessary and things of that nature. Now, what do you think happens when a man comes from Baltimore and shoots into, a parked police car on the streets of Brooklyn, Brooklyn, New York, against 2 officers that wasn't even thinking about that man? So what happens now? Because at the end of the day, we're only human beings. What if you were sitting in the car and you were at work and you were on duty and somebody walked and shot at you, based on some events or whatever the case may be, something that you had nothing to do with? We don't know, and details are coming out and the stories are developing, but as a society, we have to do better. It can't be okay for senseless killing on either side. It can't be okay. It can't be okay. I mean, there's too many press conferences. What happened to the holiday spirit? What happened to Christmas and Thanksgiving and Hanukkah and Kwanzaa? I mean, stuff like that we should be talking about, or a New Year's, resolution or something like that, or losing weight, or, getting a new job, or, celebrating, your family coming home from college, or, thanking the soldiers, for serving the country or something like that. It has to be a better way. This has to stop. But it won't stop if folks are just acting on impulse and being ignorant about certain things and posting certain stuff, as far as hateful and raceful and vengeful things. This is not the society that we have to be. Now, of course, people make choices on their own and do things as they see fit. But, we got to do better. We got to do better. And I'm curious to see how many in the Black community are going to speak out against this. How many people are going to try to reach across the aisle or, give condolences to the families of the 2 officers that were shot in Brooklyn, or how many people will turn around and have a racist comment and say something like they deserved it, and nobody deserves a senseless killing. Nobody, regardless of who you are. But if we keep going status quo on things, then things will just get worse, but we got to do better. We got to do better. This don't make sense. It don't make sense. There's no words for it. There's no justification for it. I don't care who was killed in whatever situation. I don't care whoever feels some kind of way about what I'm saying. It does not justify 2 men doing their job being senselessly executed without even a chance to, to negotiate or something or reason with the guy. It just doesn't. No. We got to do better. We got to do better.